Suki on a Thursday, and I have to deal with you people. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I mean, a huge 12 o'clock hour, but even, I don't know, 90s large 11 o'clock hour. We have Swamp Watch. We still have Sydney Sweeney. We have got. 11 doesn't even have to advertise itself. It just is. It's like Coca-Cola. You know it's coming. You know what it is. No. I don't know. We'll be back in 11 o'clock hour right after that. KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County, stimulating talk. Hospital officer involved shooting of Deborah Mark live from the KFI Crowd Newsroom. An investigation was underway in Ontario after a reported shooting involving Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security officers requested emergency assistance when gunshots rang out this morning. Officials have not said what DHS officers were doing in the area or if anybody got hurt. Right now, the Department of Homeland Security and FBI are leading the investigation, but it's unclear what exactly went down. Jason Campidonia, KFI News. The news is brought to you by Sellers Advantage. A homeless man has been arrested in Long Beach for allegedly killing his brother. On Wednesday, the Long Beach police released details of the Sunday incident. They say officers were told that unidentified families in the hospital would suffer critical trauma from the assault victim, Mark Johnson, died on Tuesday. The 56-year-old assaulted by his homeless brother. Marcellus Johnson was arrested on Monday on suspicion of attempted murder. That charge is now likely to change since the victim is dead. It's not yet clear what caused the conflict. Mark Beatty, KFI News. A candlelight vigil has been held in Rancho Cucamonga for a San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy killed during a domestic violence call. Deputy Andrew Nunez was shot in the head Monday. Hundreds of people gathered for the memorial last night. Mayor Dennis Michael says Nunez's sacrifice will never be forgotten. May his memory inspire us to continue building a community safety, grounded in resilience, and grounded in unity. The city of Pasadena and the Rose Bowl Operating Company are suing UCLA. They're accusing the university of planning to move its home football games to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. The lawsuit calls the move a profound betrayal of trust, noting taxpayers have invested more than $150 million in Rose Bowl renovations. UCLA's lease runs through 2044, but declining attendance has reportedly fueled relocation talks, though the university's lawyer, those discussions don't violate the lease. Heather Brooker, KFI News. 26 people have been arrested in Hesperia in connection with an illegal cockfighting ring. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirms it made the arrest Sunday morning. Deputies arrived after the property as the fight was going on. They found dozens of birds dead and alive and recovered 5 guns and $28,000 in cash. San Diego has cleared nearly 200 homeless camps from state-owned land along freeways since getting access to those areas earlier this year. The city says the effort is part of a broader push to reduce sidewalk camping, connect people with shelter and services. Mayor Todd Gloria says the state land access has helped crews move faster, especially in areas that were previously off limits. He added that the work will continue with more clinics planned as shelter space becomes available. John Fink, KFI News. President Trump says he is directing the military to test our nuclear weapons arsenal. In a social media post before meeting with China's president, he said that other countries are testing theirs. The United States tests its ICBMs, those intercontinental ballistic missiles that carry nuclear warheads for thousands and thousands of miles, and they carry out those tests regularly. We're talking about maybe every 3 months or so. Air Force and the Navy carry out some testing. Russia recently tested a new capable torpedo. It's not clear which nuclear weapons the president was talking about testing. Israel's military says Hamas has handed over 2 coffins to the Red Cross in Gaza, containing the remains of hostages. The terror group previously returned the remains of 15 hostages as part of the ceasefire, with 13 more still to be recovered. Southland weather from KFI: sunny, highs mid-80s to around 90s for Metro LA, or 80s to mid-90s in the valleys, the high E, mid-70s to low 80s and windy in the high desert, low to upper 80s in the beaches, low 80s for inland and the sea. Right now, 71 in Seal Beach, 81 in Buena Park, 77 in Flora Hills, it's 83 in North Hollywood. The KFI financial update: the Dow was up 154, S&P 500 down 26, NASDAQ down 215. Crash on 60 in Montebello. It's going to be over 60 minutes. Boulevard got crash involving a couple cars. some big bridge stuck together. The two right lanes are blocked. It's almost backed up to the 605. If you're on that 605 southbound heading into Santa Fe Springs, you can tap the brakes from the 60 all the way down to the 5. Now on the 5 north at Lakewood Boulevard, we've got a crash partially blocking that off ramp. 5 southbound at Imperial Highway. Some tire tread is at the right lane of that off ramp. And in Santa Fe Springs, 605 north at Telegraph Road, got a crash trying to scoop its way over to the right shoulder. On the Dolce on 14 southbound riding for Silverback Canyon Road.
And when you go ahead and mention anything about what happened as a child, rather again, Ella ha amru b'reisha b'amru lekadna Isa b'amru kiyashal gadu b'amru leishalo hayya b'egz nishal osa sha'apa. Okay, so here's how it happened. So the first day, when I was a kid, I remember that they burnt a Baskoy. They literally burnt her. And they said, come on, we're not listening to you. You're not believed to talk about as an adult events that you saw as a child. Then again, he saw the second time when he was a kid, when he was an adult. Then he related and he said, that was a base that made a mistake. Okay, good. Mishnah. Mitzvahs neragim. So now we just, that was all. That's the end of Sreifa. That's Sreifa, that's how they actually went ahead and carried out the din of Sreifa. Next. Mitzvahs neragim. So now we're up to Hereg. Hereg means less decapitation. So how would they do this? The Gemara says, they would literally decapitate him with a sword. The Gemara says, first one line, the same way that the monarchy executes people. So the monarchy executes a sharp sword, decapitate the individual. Buddha says, legal that would create, legal means that would be a lack of respect to the dead. Just the messiness of decapitation is not going to be good. Ella, rather, what do you do to make it a little bit cleaner? You take a wooden block, you put it in the ground, you tell him to lay his head down on the block, the code states the kofitz, and you decapitate him with an axe. Does not seem to be much better. I think it's said that people, what are you talking about? Right? That's terrible. Right? That's a sword could be a lot cleaner. Certainly a lot cleaner, a lot faster, a lot easier. This is a much, much uglier death. So Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda says as follows: I know that using a big axe is not nice. I know that it's a not nice death. What should I do? I would also prefer to use a sword. But the Moshe says, what's halacha? Do not follow in the ways of the government. Do not follow the ways of the Gentile nations. And since the Gentile nations, when they administer capital punishment, they do decapitation by sword, we're not allowed to do it the same way. So that's what we're talking about. These Gentiles. We just want to replicate what they're doing. But if we're already doing the same thing, and we're doing something, and they replicate it, following that standard practice is not considered to be Gentile replication. And therefore, Allah it already says death by a sword in the Torah. So because it says it by us, we're allowed to do it even though they do it. Because if you don't say this, listen to this. So I say, hey, these are Hinad. Also, remember again, there's an interesting halacha. We actually saw this reference earlier on in the week. That so when a king dies, we burn the possessions of the king. We burn the possessions. And the logic behind that is, because he's the king, no one else should use his stuff. Now, both say it's interesting because that's what the Gentile nations do as well, as a sign of respect to the king. But yet, we're allowed to do it. Why? Because essentially we had it first. So the Gemara says, so you see from here that anything that we were doing already anyway, even if it's done by the Gentile nations, we're still allowed to continue doing it. I'm sorry, so therefore again, you still be by the burning of the king's possessions. Since we already had it first, we were doing it already. Even the Gentile nations started to do it, it's not considered to be Gentile replication or emulation. So let me not going to be the Hakanami, came on that says Sayyid, Ba'araisa, Love, so to over here, since it says sword, so we're talking about the sword, and we'll talk about it later on, but since it says sword in the Torah, therefore again, death by sword is something we were already doing, And even the Gentile nations that are using it as well, it is not considered to be Gentile replication. So I'm going to say we'll have to stop over here. I'm going to try to record the rest up until the Mishnah Meretz Hashem before Shabbos. So we Shabbos can start at the Mishnah. Listen, what a week. What a week. What a week. Shemef, everyone. All right, everyone's on Shabbos, everyone. Shabbos, good Shabbos.
I wanted to celebrate. There are a lot of things that are going on with there is a story that's breaking out of the Ontario area. The FBI is now leading an investigation into a shooting that involved Department of Homeland Security as well today. DHS officers were the ones who were requesting emergency assistance. And at this point, we have not yet heard the specifics of what was going on. Several shots fired. We don't know the extent of injuries already, but this is one of those high-profile incidents. They will hold a news conference, we expect at some point,
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, thank you for the weather advisory. Again, once you just know that text gets sent out, so the time at 5:22 this morning. What I'm doing is 5:22 this morning is preparing the coffee. You know, we all go in Baruch Hashem and we take and we enjoy it. It's wonderful. I understand that Ari really is happy he's not here because he was shutting down doing it, but there's tremendous Mesiras Nefesh on his part when he does it. So make sure that when you see him, that you give him a tremendous thank you, not just for the weather updates, but for the coffee each and every morning. So Ari, on behalf of the entire share, thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. I really, really appreciate it. So the weather update aside, also just the coffee every single morning. And thank you for it. Thank you for it. So we also thank our Talmud Torah sponsors for the year of Tavshin Pei Hey, our annual Talmud Torah sponsor is Tosin Mishpach of Eretz Yisrael. We're dedicating all the Shimmer Drushos this year as a zechus from Soros Dovos for Ad Yisrael. Our Dafyomi sponsors for today, Malki Rosenblum, in honor of Dr. 20th birthday, and our Dafyomi sponsors today, friends of Josh Rosenblum, for his special birthday. Cool birthday. I didn't say gay. 40, a child. And Josh, on behalf of the entire jury, wish you a tremendous birthday. Rest of the year of growth, of Hatzlach, of continued Vegas, and Kol Shalos Levet, Tov Amanda, as you try to tell us. Beautiful. All right, so with that, let us begin. Of course, as always, we're dedicating our learning in this Kisar Precious Hostages, which Prophet should bring them home. With Shalom and Bekar, the Kisar soldiers, may they be successful. But with that, let us begin. A lot to do today. An interesting that filled with just a lot of, at times, random information, but really interesting ideas. So remember, again, we're still steeped. It feels like, on one hand, it's interesting Gemara. On the other hand, I thought this yesterday, that it's very heavy being involved in death. Right, and to say these are death oriented, but as I mentioned before, I think when we started this sugi of skila, sometimes being around death is a powerful thing because being constantly around death can be actually life affirming. And I know that sounds inherently contradictory, but sometimes when all you're doing is death, and you recognize that Baruch Hashem, I'm alive, I'm here, it's a new day, it's only 5:57 in the morning. The whole day is ahead of me, and it's mine to decide what I want to do with it. So sometimes, again, spending a lot of time with death reminds us how much power we have in life. So also, let us begin. So we left off yesterday.
So I heard it was quite the
Tell me where I am. Rabbi Shimon, do this. Let's Rabbi Shimon. That one. Okay, one person talk. Tell me where I am.
He was trying to fly back from his Asian tour. He was practically fighting to stay upright for the Yes.
That's a gabbai. A gabbai just gets to it, doesn't he? I'll just tell me where we are, and that's it. Good. Let's go. So good. The answer is as follows. My Rabbi Shimon. So what's the position of Rabbi Shimon? Designed Rabbi Shimon over Shnei Klolos Memru Baskoin. So there are two rules said by Baskoin. The Gemara says, one second. The Baskoin or Bas Yisrael. So these two rules are said by Baskoin about Baskoin. So remember again, The overwhelming ambiguity in all of this is here's what we know. A bas kohen who commits adultery is subject to a different type of death penalty. What's the challenge? The challenge is we have two psukim. One says skiva, one pasuk says sreifa. So we're trying to figure out who is who, right? What is what. So the Shimon says, about person works after Bas Yisrael. So rather again, the Torah says, rather say that these two rules apply even to Bas Yisrael. But Otzi Akasim Yisrael B'Chlam Nesua, V'Arisa B'Chlam Arisa. Yet by Bas Kohen, what ends up happening over here is the Torah removes a Kohen Nesua from the general penalty of Nesua, and Bas Kohen Arusa from the general penalty of Arusa. Let's take a quick look at Rashi for just a moment. Rashi says over Nesua, Arusa Bas Kohen B'Chlam Arusa Bas Yisrael. It's in the short lines of Rashi about 8 lines up from before it gets wide. Arusa Bas Kohen B'Chlam so right, so generally, an arusa will get skiva, but a bas Shimon says a bas kohen who commits adultery as an arusa will get sreifa. Okay, and the sur b'klam nesua mechanek nesreifa. And again, by nesua, so regular married woman who commits adultery mechanek bas kohen. Ultimately, again, you get sreifa. We get sreifa. So by the way, this all feeds into Rabbi Shimon's rule. What's Rabbi Shimon's premise? Rabbi Shimon's premise is that, remember, Rabbi Shimon argued on Tanakh in the Mishnah. According to Rabbi Shimon, according to Tanakh, what's the most common form of death? Skiva. According to Rabbi Shimon, most common form of death? Sreifa. And remember again, so much of what we're seeing of Rabbi Shimon's opinion is really formed in this whole Bas Kohen discussion, because since we see that Bas Kohen is pulled out from the normative framework of punishment, and ultimately again giving something different, and the different thing that she's giving in Sreifa indicates that Sreifa is a different kind of ownership. The Gemara says, just like when the Torah pulled out about for a regular case of this was to be Machmir. So when it pulls out the rule of a Bas Kohen Arusa commits adultery, from a regular Bas Kohen Arusa commits adultery, it's supposed to be Machmir, and to really see also on Torah, she gets straight on. So you see that Sreifa is the most common form of Nisa. Zonei Bas Yisrael. But Zonei Arusa Bas Kohen B'Chlam Zonei Arusa Bas Yisrael. So let's say this is very interesting. We're going to see this principle later on. But yeah, let's say Eight Zonei comes. So let's say Rachel is a Bas Kohen. She's about to marry Reuben. Right? It doesn't matter what Reuben is. He's a guy who's not a Kohen. We're going to see it makes absolutely no difference. Witnesses show up and they say he saw Rachel commit adultery. Then it turns out that Halacha L'Meisa being lied, or I should say, another set of witnesses came along and he said to the first set, you could not have seen what you're supposed to have seen. Why? He said, we were with us. Eidim Zomer. The ones they turned, what's the punishment? What's the punishment? Right? Kasha is a reciprocal punishment. Here's the Chiddush. Even though a Bas Kohen gets a unique punishment for adultery, i.e. Sreifa, that's unique chumrah for her, Zomin do not get her unique punishment. Instead, Eidim Zomin get whatever a normal adulteress would have gotten in that scenario. So in such halacha, we'll see the drasha for that in just a little bit. So again, the unique punishment only goes to the Bas Kohen herself, does not go to Zolim. The Torah says over here, actually, it's the first white line. Zolim Yisrael Batzvim the Chalal, Zolim Yisrael Batzvim. The Chenek Shalahotzi Akasav Elo Oso Levado. They say he bought Tisari blah 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 Zolim. Once we're going to only she gets Sreifa. The Eidim Zolim will get interested. They'll get punished, but they get the punishment for we'll call normal adultery, which would be chenek, strangulation, and not sreifa. Fascinating. Okay, so let's go back to it. But let's say you go to base 50 feet, 3 lines into the wide line. So about Ubas Ish Kohen Kisechel, and if the daughter of a Kohen won't commit adultery, Yachal Afilu Chilulu Asa Shabbos. So let's say, so the Lashon of the pasuk is very interesting. It's Ubas Ish Kohen Kisechel. If the daughter of a Kohen will profane herself. So the Gemara says, okay, profane, maybe it means that she was Mechal Shabbos. Maybe the Gemara is telling us that maybe a Bas Kohen gets a streifa, even for just desecrating Shabbos. Tawalomar is nos. once again in the word ultimately against nos, immorality. If your relationship is nos HaKosar Dava, the Torah is talking about again a profanation that occurs, that is, I believe is the word, right? The profanation from profanity that occurs as a result ultimately again of immorality. The sin shows like also with Dava, right? So the Gemara says, Yachol afilu pneuya. You want a baby, it's a bascon even if she's single. Even if she's single, Nema kan avia, v'nema la avia. So it says over here avia, and it says in the second pasuk, V'otzi etzanara al pesach beis avia uskalua. Ma'ala Snus in Zika Sabal, just like in the first about the Snus in Zika Sabal, which means immorality, where there's a husband involved, right? Again, maybe not Nisun, but at least in the same Afghan Snus in Zika Sabal. So it's over here again, there's Snus in Zika Sabal as well. O Eina over Avia, L-O-T-S, Kaba Adam. Maybe when it says Avia, it means that when is a Bas Cohen subject to slave, or when she commits adultery, maybe with her father, right? Maybe it's only incestual adultery that's problematic. Over here, Havi Omer, Kal Adam Amar, where it says Himachalalas, ultimately again it comes to criminal adultery with M. Ha Ma'ani Makaye. So one says, so how many of the kind? So what at the end of the day, what do I come out with? So the Gemara says, so how many the kind of the never kind of the never la it says over here, it says the second pasuk of the just like over here, it's immorality with a connection to a husband. Afkan's nose and Zegas Abal. The verse is okay. Imal Alon Na'arab Yarusa. Afkan Na'arab Yarusa. Well, so here's the difference. So I'm going to again. The Torah speaks about ultimately again of a Nara, a Bas Kohen a Nara, who will rasa. Right? But Hosea is a Nara Hazakul Zabia. So we're trying to apply anything that's stated in the second pasuk to whatever is stated in the first pasuk, which talks about Sreifa. So maybe if we're comparing Psukim, just like the second pasuk is talking about a girl who's a Nara, which of course is a particular stage in her physical development, and she's an Arusa. So to by Sreifa, she'll only get Sreifa if she's a Nara, and she's an Arusa. To which the Gemara says, how do we know the Suah Bulgaris? I'm sorry. I'm kind of Nara B'Hid Urasa. Nara B'Hid Suah. How do I know that she's a Nara, but she has the Suah? Or Bulgaris. Yarusa, she's a Bulgaris. Right? An adult, full adult. And she's a Yarusa. Or Bulgaris B'Hid Suah. Or Bulgaris B'Hid Skila. She's a much older woman, 79. How do I she's subject to Sreifa? Talmudar, Bas Kohen, Mikol Makom. If the Torah uses a more generic notion of Bas Kohen, tell us whoever is the Bas Kohen, whatever Surah she is, a Nara, a Bulgaris, an Asua, an Arisa, it doesn't make a difference. This is the punishment handed down to a girl who is a woman who is a Bas Kohen adultery. So the words Bas Kohen in, so top of the mouth, if you want to say, Amy Ella Shani says the Kohen. So, but here's what's interesting. The Gemara assumes over here that a Kohen, the fact that it's referring to Bas Kohen, maybe means that she also married a Kohen. But maybe it's a Bas Kohen who married a Kohen. Amy Ella Shani says the Kohen. He says the lady in Israel, Lo'omen Kochaviv, L'chala, L'chala, L'manzer, L'simina. And how do I know what the truth is? This unique halacha, the Bas Kohen who commits adultery, and her second being subject to Sreifa. How do we know that halacha l'maisa, no matter who she married, that she's subject to Sreifa? How do we know that? It was like, if you look at the list here, the list is very interesting because who's included in this list? Sadly, again, according to Israel, but also Psulim. Even in the sin, even when I wasn't by the way, I think what I love most about that feeling. Well, I love everything about that feeling. But one of the things that I truly treasure about this is, as much as sometimes it is frustrating, not necessarily for myself I'm talking about attention over all the details of that. But one of the things that I'm saying had is to say, in the Chayzer, right? If you marry one, you're not allowed to marry. Does the Kiddushin one? So there's the famous Machmir Shita of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva holds Kiddushin in the Kos in the Chayzer rather. So if you try to marry someone, you're not allowed to marry. Even if you're only prohibited to by Allah, Rabbi Akiva says that marriage does not work. We don't custom that way. hold Kiddushin in the Tosin the Chagin Isa, right? A man tries to marry his sister, not going to work. Tries to marry another man's wife, it's not going to work. But if a man tries to, if a woman marries a mamzer, right, or a sin or a chama, so it's a lot. It's right. Every woman during the marriage, there's a prohibition, but the marriage itself works. So how do I know that even if this woman is married legally, but nevertheless, again, if she's a masculine and she's subject to sreifa, so it's interesting enough because this halacha applies to the daughter of a kohen, even if she herself is not a kohenes, has kind of compromised her status either by marrying out of the Kuna or ultimately again even by marrying illegally. Okay, keep it straight, but they involve of the straight. That's what is very important. Furthermore, just like we saw before, so this unique punishment of straight up for a Baskoin who is adultery is dafka a din in a Baskoin. The right in the woman herself. It does not apply to her adulterer. Now again, he's guilty, right? He's also the penalty, but he's very unique straight up penalty. So the word says as follows. So he is straight up, he is straight up, they fall on the straight up. First one, he is straight up, they fall on the straight up. So again, she gets straight up. But ultimately, again, the Muslim do not get straight up. So again, I want to say this one, how about the Mesa, this unique punishment was not for her, and not for anyone else, not for the not for the ball. Rabbi Rothschild says as follows: "Esafil on the straight ball, best kameh on the skila." So Rabbi Rothschild makes a very interesting statement over here, right? He says that now we'll just read it and then we'll have to see exactly what it means. With her father with straight ball, and with her father-in-law with skiba. So the Gemara says as follows: "Amar Gar, Yokala the Shabbos." So again, we don't know exactly what's that actually means. Remains to be seen. All right, the Shabbos. So where it says, I would have thought that even if she just violates Shabbos, because remember again, it was like the washing of the pasuk that we keep on referencing. It's with Bas Ish Kohen, simple washing of Chulin, right? Profanation. So even if she just profanes Shabbos, she's subject to sreifa. So the Gemara says, I think Chol Shabbos is Bas Skila. Right? Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that Chol Shabbos is Skila, right? Chol Shabbos is not sreifa. This is fascinating. Suggesting maybe what the Torah is introducing me something dramatic because maybe introducing me that Kohanim in general have a totally different punishment system. Right? Why? Because since Kohanim are put on a spiritual pedestal, since they have additional mitzvos, maybe just the ante is much higher by Kohanim. And since Halakha said, yeah, they have what they call mitzvos yiseros, they have all these additional mitzvos. That perhaps even for any Avera, which carries that penalty, Halakha again, she should get straight up, or they should get straight right, and therefore even if she is Makal Shabbos, she should get straight up. Kamash Shlomo, that straight is dafka then, straight is dafka then in adultery and not by anything else. So remember later. So Maishna, so the word says, I would have thought as follows. So again, what exactly a box coin is Mechalo Shabbos to get straight up. That's the Havamina. Why? Because it's kind of like so many additional mitzvahs. Maybe she has a high level of sanctity, and the Mechalo Shabbos she should get straight up. It was that you know this, by the way. The Havamina was for who? The Havamina was for women. A box coin she gets straight up for Shabbos. The Havamina was only a box coin and not Kohanim. But why would you suggest straight up the Mechalo Shabbos for a box coin and not straight for the Kohanim? What's the shot? What's very interesting? Now that you reached out and Shabbos, like I hold on. This is fascinating. Kohanim already themselves have a shtickle of common dispensation when it comes to Shabbos. For example, that right? Dispensation for brother. Again, Kohanim, remember, are permitted to offer karbanos on Shabbos. So here you see the Kohanim have a different, male Kohanim have a different relationship with Shabbos. And obviously, again, it's but obviously, this type of dispensation that they have for Avodah, that obviously only applies to men, doesn't apply. So I got for an easy halacha when I say from that whole Shabbos should apply for it. And after that, Kamash will no. Kamash will again for Chil Shabbos. The penalty is always skila for everyone. It doesn't matter Kohen and not Kohen. Good. I'm not fucking tired. That's all.
It's posted by Eternal Post.
People talk like Reddit is just a big sewing circle full of dweebs and insults, and they get together and they start clamoring, and then boom, you got a hit.
Great, man. No, I think it was smart, brother.
Have you seen your Reddit? It's fucking terrifying. People are nuts.
I stay off of it, man. I stay off of it.
Don't read it.
No, I stay off of it. Hopefully, do you read all that shit?
I have it. Boy, I turned my lights off, closed the blinds, and getting a feel good for 3 weeks, and it's so painful.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't listen from guys on Reddit, unfortunately.
Smart move.
Take that, cats. Papa doesn't need to have you guys think he's cool. He knows he's got his inner coolness, okay? Do you guys have that many hats? Huh? Do you have 1,000 sports jerseys? Can you be a comedian? Are you brave enough to go on stage and say that Andrew Johnson has AIDS? Okay?
In between all the 7 podcasts you do and you write comedy beats.
Yeah, do you have Rogan and Shorty Pike? Do you have 12 podcasts? Be able to eat a taco weird? Think about that.
Where you at? PF Chang's cooking orange chicken.
Yeah, you're freaking homeless and you're a cat. Okay? Why would we even care about you? That's such a great thing. He's like, they're hoping I even care about you. What are you, the mayor of Los Angeles? Be cool, Brendan Shaw. Be cool.
All right, so listen, I don't know if Brendan took extra alpha brain this week, but there's not a lot of Brendan clips. Okay, for this week in TFAC.
Extra alpha brain or a little creative.
Oh, yeah, sure. Maybe hippo or little 25-day cleanse of the.
Yeah, right. He might not be sleeping on his Helix mattress. Maybe he's,
Maybe he's trying on MeUndies.
Never check your social media before bed. That's what they call it to me.
So that being said, this one's posted by XIIT. It's Sam Hyde and Nick on Bert Kreischer in LA Comics. They can't ever let Bert Kreischer see these guys' video clips because he will die from laughing. So we have to shield. Bert Kreischer's a fucking loser. We have to shield Bert Kreischer's sad pussy. Can you look up Bert Kreischer laughing real quick? We have to shield.
I don't need any friends. I don't need to make friends. I don't want to talk to any of them. I don't want to go on their fucking shows. I'm here. Suck my dick. We have to Providence. We want to hang out with us. That's cool enough to get together. Other than this thing, you fucking leave out of here.
It's like a bizarro version of you.
Yeah.
Shitting on some random comedian, and they better not see that. And then you're like, you do a whip in, and you're not so anymore. Come to fucking Island Park, Island Park. There's no parking here. I don't know how you're gonna get here, but I don't need any friends. HLP, baby. Come to Providence, Rhode Island. I don't know. I think Sam's funny. Do you know anything about his co-host?
I have no clue what that is. I know that they have a cool set. That set is pretty cool.
Yeah, whatever.
But also, too, it's not a whip it. It's a oxygen tank.
Oh, what does that do?
It just, you can buy it at Walgreens or something. It's just like a little. It actually, like, we should probably try it. We should try it out for Rackman Tweeties. Because then it'll clear your mind. You like think better and stuff.
Okay. It's funny that we're just doing a thing about Shaw, but there's been so much like references to drugs. Like we found out about Kratom.